Welcome to another video. So we've been talking about microorganisms, and today we want to talk about towards better health. We have microorganisms that cause diseases and so many other devastating effects. So we want to talk about how we can control these microorganisms, or we are just talking about health in general. So today we'll be talking about control of microorganisms. Now, to prevent the growth or to prevent infectious diseases from spreading, we have to kill or inhibit the growth of disease-causing microorganisms. And the way we can do this is by sterilization methods. We have different sterilization methods that we use to kill or remove all microorganisms from objects that are being treated. We have several ways we can sterilize objects or equipment or parts or places. So this helps to reduce the total number of microorganisms we have or to inhibit their growth. So we have several methods of controlling the spread of disease-causing microorganisms. We have high temperature, antiseptics, antibiotics, high salinity, and dehydration. So I want to talk about these various methods of controlling microorganisms. So most of the microorganisms that cause diseases in humans, they grow and multiply around the normal human body temperature, which is about 37 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature is too low, is way below this temperature, their growth is inhibited. Or if the temperature is way higher than this temperature, their growth, they are killed. So if the temperature is too low, their growth is inhibited. If the temperature is too high, they are killed. So it kills these microorganisms. So the way we can get rid of these microorganisms through high temperature is, number one, we can get rid of microorganisms in food by cooking it properly. So the heat that is gotten from cooking, while we're cooking this food, helps to kill microorganisms. Another way is by boiling water. If we have microorganisms in water, we can kill it by boiling it. Then also, we can get rid of it in contaminated objects by boiling them or heating them in an autoclave. An autoclave is just it's like a pot, like a pressure pot. It looks something like a pressure pot. We use it to sterilize objects. We use it to get rid of microorganisms in some objects. So we can place an object in the autoclave to sterilize it. We have pathogenic microorganisms in milk, and we can kill them by pasteurization. So those are the ways we can get rid of microorganisms through high temperature. Now we also have antiseptics. Now antiseptics are chemicals that inhibit the growth of pathogenic microorganisms. Now they are usually mild chemicals or dilute solutions of strong chemicals. So the chemicals are usually very mild, or they are dilute solutions of chemicals that are strong, so that they can be safely applied on body surfaces. So we can use antiseptics on cuts, wounds, abrasions on our skin to prevent infection by microbial growth. So the reason why these chemicals are mild, or the reason why they are dilute solutions of strong chemicals, is so that we can apply them to our skin safely without them causing any damage. Now, common antiseptics include alcohol, which 70% alcohol, boric acid, and the tincture of iodine, which is 2% of that. Now, just like we have antiseptics, we also have disinfectants. But disinfectants, just like antiseptics, they are also chemicals that kill or inhibit the growth of pathogens. However, they are stronger chemicals than antiseptics, and they are often used on non-living things and non-living surfaces. So it's just like we use antiseptics majorly for living surface, our skin, our body surface, and we use disinfectants for non-living surface. Carbolic acid is an example is a common disinfectant that is used for disinfecting lavatories, toilets, and floors. In fact, hospital floors and hospital environments. So carbolic acid is an example of a disinfectant. We also have the antibiotics. Now, these are chemicals that when they're in low concentrations, they can selectively kill or inhibit the growth of some pathogenic microorganisms. Now, antibiotics are produced actually from microorganisms like bacteria and fungi that are not harmful to humans. For example, we produce the antibiotic penicillin G from the blue-green mold Penicillium. That's a fungi. Penicillium is a fungi. So we produce the antibiotic penicillin G from the blue-green mold Penicillium. So that's an example of an antibiotic, and they are produced from microorganisms. Now, that penicillin G is effective against gram-positive bacteria. We also have some other antibiotics that, like chloramphenicol, tetracycline, that are effective against both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Now, generally, we can use antibiotics to control diseases caused by pathogenic bacteria, but they are not as effective. They are not effective in controlling pathogenic diseases caused by viruses and protozoa. They're not really effective in controlling pathogens, disease-causing microorganisms like viruses and protozoa. So antibiotics are more effective in controlling bacteria. Another method in our control of microorganisms is high salinity. High salinity affects the osmotic balance between the microbial cell and its environment. So if the salinity of an environment is too high, it can affect the osmotic balance between the cell of the microorganism and its environment. Now when this happens, this inhibits the growth of the microbial cell and prevents multiplication. So we can wash cuts and wounds with salt solutions to prevent them from becoming infected. That's one way we can kill microorganisms with high salinity. We could also preserve some foods by salting them, by adding salt. And that preservation is just us killing or inhibiting the growth of some microorganisms with high salinity, with salt. And we also have dehydration. Now, water is very essential for the growth and the multiplication of microorganisms. So removal of water, so dehydration is just the removal of water. So we say removal of water or dehydration would inhibit the microbial growth of microorganisms. So many foods are preserved by dehydration methods. One of the dehydration methods is drying. So dry in the sun. Drying in the sun is a very practical way of dehydration, and it's a practical way of killing microorganisms, disease-causing microorganisms. We could dry our beddings and our clothes in the sun to kill the microorganisms in them. So in this method, we are both using dehydration and the ultraviolet rays in the sunlight to kill pathogenic microorganisms. So with that, we've come to the end of today's video on control of microorganisms. In our subsequent videos, we'll be talking about other methods towards better health. See you in our next video.